This is not your regular video. I don't care how deep your feelings are. I will tell you nothing but the truth. Sit tight, get a note, and jot. There are things a woman says to a man that should end the conversation. Not with a fight, not with an argument, but with a quiet, dignified exit. I'm a woman. I know what these phrases actually mean. Not on the surface, underneath, where the real message lives. Most men hear these words and explain them away. She didn't mean it like that. She was having a bad day. I'm here to tell you. She meant exactly what she said. You just didn't want to hear it. Women are not careless with language. We are deliberate, even when we're pretending not to be. Every phrase carries information about how she actually sees you, how much she values you, how much she respects you, and how she intends to treat you if you stay. The problem is most of these phrases are delivered softly. They come wrapped in a laugh, a casual tone, a moment small enough to let pass, and that's exactly the point. If she can say it and you don't react, she knows the boundary doesn't exist. I've watched women test men this way. Not always consciously, but consistently, and I've watched men fail it over and over because they were too in love, too afraid of conflict, or too deep in denial to trust what they were hearing. There are 5 specific phrases. If she says them to you, they tell you everything you need to know about what this relationship is actually built on. By the time this video ends, you'll understand exactly what she was saying and what you should have done the moment she said it. You're too sensitive. That's the first one. And here's what it actually means. Your feelings are inconvenient for me. I know how this one is delivered. A slight smirk. Maybe a laugh, like your reaction is the most obvious overreaction in the world. You raised something that bothered you, calmly, reasonably. And instead of engaging with what you said, she dismissed the fact that you said anything at all. That's not a small moment. That's a woman telling you that your emotional reality is not something she intends to respect. In a healthy dynamic, when your partner brings something up, the first instinct is to understand it, not to reframe you as the problem. You're too sensitive is a shutdown tactic. It moves the spotlight from her behavior to your reaction. Suddenly, the issue isn't what she did. The issue is that you had the audacity to feel something about it. And the deeper damage is this. Over time, you start to believe her. You start holding things back. You stop bringing things up because you've been conditioned to think your feelings don't count. That is not a relationship. That is slow erosion. I'll say it plainly. This is a power move. By making you feel like the problem, she avoids accountability for her actions. And the moment you accept that treatment, you're telling her it's fine to keep crossing your limits. A woman who respects you will hear you out. She won't always agree, but she will not laugh at you for feeling something. If she's laughing, leave. You should be more like. Fill in any name. That's the second phrase. And the translation is this. I'm keeping another man in my mind as your replacement. This one is calculated. Whether she knows it or not, when a woman drops a comparison like this, she's doing 2 things at once. She's telling you another man exists in her mind as a standard you're not meeting. And she's watching to see if you'll chase that standard. Here's what I know from the inside. Women who genuinely respect their men do not compare them to other men. We might privately wish for adjustments. We might even bring something up directly. But we don't weaponize another man's name to do it. When she names someone, an ex, a colleague, a man from her timeline, she is deliberately introducing competition into your relationship. The moment you start trying to measure up to whoever that is, you've already lost, because you've accepted that she has the authority to set the standard, and that her standard is someone who isn't you. Real attraction doesn't compare. When a woman is invested in you, she sees what you bring. She might push you to grow, but she pushes you toward your own potential, not toward some other man's image. If she's handing you a blueprint that looks like someone else's life, it means she hasn't decided whether she wants you or the idea of something better. And you cannot win that comparison. Stop trying. The moment another man's name becomes a measuring stick in your relationship, That relationship is already somewhere you shouldn't be. I don't need you. Third phrase. Translation. Your absence wouldn't cost me much, and I want you to know that. I want to be careful here because independence in a woman is not the problem. I am an independent woman. I know many. And not one of us says I don't need you to a man we actually want to keep. That phrase doesn't come from strength. It comes from a desire to control the emotional dynamic. She's establishing that she holds the power, that she can take or leave you, and she wants that fact on the table. Think about what that does over time. You're investing. You're showing up. You're making effort, adjustments, sacrifices. And she periodically reminds you that none of it is essential to her. That's not partnership. That's a transaction where she's told you up front she doesn't intend to be equally vulnerable. Here's what I'll say honestly as a woman. When I genuinely want a man, I am not trying to make him feel replaceable. I am doing the opposite. I'm making him feel that what he brings is specific, real, and something I don't want to go without. That's what we do with people we value. A woman who instead wields her independence as a weapon is not building something with you. She's keeping the door open to something else while keeping you close enough to be useful. You are not a backup plan. There's a difference between I'm capable on my own and I can replace you at any time. One is strength, the other is a warning. Don't ignore the difference. If you loved me, you would. Fourth phrase, and this is the one I need men to hear most clearly, because it sounds like love, but it's not. Look at the structure of that sentence. If you loved me, that's a conditional. It's saying your love is not yet proven, and the proof is whether you'll do what I'm asking. It ties your love to compliance. And once you accept that equation, she owns the goalposts. She decides what counts as love and what doesn't. Every time you say yes to avoid the implication that you don't care, you teach her that this tactic works. And she will use it again. The ask will grow. The standard will shift. And you will keep running to meet it because the alternative is being labeled as someone who doesn't love her. I need to be honest. I have watched women use this deliberately. It is one of the most effective emotional tools available because it targets something men genuinely fear. They don't want to be seen as unloving. So they give in. And they give in. Until one day they look up and don't recognize themselves. Real love asks. It doesn't corner. It says, this would mean a lot to me. It does not say, prove it or you don't actually love me. If she's using love as a crowbar to pry open your limits, that is not intimacy. That is control wearing a romantic mask. And the longer you accept it, the harder it becomes to tell the difference. The moment you hear if you loved me, you would stop. Think. Ask yourself, is this love or is this manipulation in disguise? The answer will tell you exactly what to do next. You're lucky to have me. Fifth phrase. And here's what it actually is. A subtle reminder that she's already decided this relationship isn't equal. This one usually starts as a joke. Light. Playful. You know you're lucky to have me, right? And men laugh it off because they don't want to seem insecure. But hear what's happening underneath that sentence. She is planting a seed. The seed is, she is the prize. You are the fortunate recipient. And the subtext of everything that follows will be shaped by that imbalance. Over time, you'll start to feel it in everything. The way she expects your effort, but doesn't match it. The way she accepts what you give as normal, not something she's grateful for. The way she handles conflict, not as a partner trying to solve a problem, but as someone reminding you of your position. Healthy relationships don't have a person on a pedestal. Not her, not you. Two people who genuinely want to be together know that both of them are bringing something real. Neither one is doing the other a favor. Neither one is the prize. You are both choosing each other, actively, daily. A woman who loves and respects you will not need to remind you that you're lucky. She'll make you feel it, and she'll feel it right back. When a woman needs to say it out loud, it's because she needs it to be true more than it actually is. She's building a reality where she's above you so that you'll accept being below her. Don't accept it. You are not a lucky recipient. You are a man who brings real value. The right woman will know that without needing to say the opposite. Here's the truth nobody is saying out loud. These 5 phrases have one thing in common. They are all tests. Tests to see whether you'll tolerate disrespect. And every time a man lets one pass, she recalibrates. She learns where the floor is. She learns exactly how low she can go before he reacts. A woman can love you and still take you for granted. She can want you and still disrespect you. Those things are not mutually exclusive. But here's what I know for certain. A woman will never leave a man she genuinely respects. Not for long. Not for good. If she's saying these things and nothing is changing, she doesn't fear losing you. And a relationship where she doesn't fear losing you is already over. The only question is whether you'll be the last one to find out. You don't argue your way out of disrespect. You walk, quietly, without an announcement. The moment you remove yourself from a dynamic that doesn't value you, your value goes up. Not as revenge, but as self-respect in action. Subscribe for more truth from inside the room. Next week, I will tell you what women actually respond to. This will help you to stop chasing.